Howdy, Pastor Mark Driscoll here, and we finally reached the point in the storyline of Genesis where God shows up and he speaks to Abraham and Sarah and he calls them, and what he does, he puts a purpose on their family that he's going to bless them, but he's going to bless them so that they can be a blessing to the nations of the earth, ultimately bringing Jesus. The big idea is this: for your family to be healthy, it needs to have a goal, it needs to have an objective, it needs to have a purpose bigger than itself. And if the focus is the marriage, it's too small. If it's the children, it's too small. If it's the grandchildren, it's too small. That ultimately it has to be that everyone in the family exists to serve the purposes of God, that they're pulled up into greater meaning, value, and purpose. So for Abraham and Sarah, they have each other. That's awesome. God gives them a son. That's amazing. But ultimately, what gives this family very significant purpose to their whole life and their legacy is that God has a calling on them and a destiny for them. And so we would say that the center or the gravitational center of their family is God. It's not Abraham, it's not Sarah, and once they have their son, it's not their son. The center is God, and everyone exists for the purposes of God. Everyone serves the purposes of God, and ultimately, unless God is the center of your marriage and God is the center of your family, someone or something is going to displace and replace God as the center. Usually it's the husband, the wife, and or one of the kids. The result is that you don't have a God-centered home. You have a very dysfunctional family and system. And then what we're looking for is we're looking for that person that is now the center of the family to be the healthy one that holds it all together, or to be the dysfunctional one that creates enough drama to give us all a rallying point, something to do. And so the best way to have a not dysfunctional, not broken, not unhealthy family system, it has to be God-centered, it has to be God-purposed, it has to be God-destined. And that's why when God shows up to Abraham and Sarah, before he gives them a child, he gives them himself, and he gives them some time to work on their marriage with him, so that then when they add a child to that family, God remains the center and no one and nothing displaces and replaces God. If you think about it, in your current marriage, family, or your family of origin, who or what was the dominating center? Who got most of the time and the energy? Who made the decisions? Who was the one that really was in the position of highest authority or greatest glory? If it was anyone or anything other than God, the consequences are devastating and painful, because even a good spouse is a bad God. Even a good child is a bad God. Even a good family is a bad God. And everyone in the family really needs God to be at the center.